Welcome to my channel, and I'm back with you once again with another video of Microsoft Flight Simulator 24. The new simulator has a very powerful flight planning tool which is embedded in the electronic flight bag. You can just make flight plans and load them in the plane. Now the web-based version is also available by Microsoft. It's the flight planner. You can see the link on the screen. You can just go over here and make flight plans. Making flight plans over here is really interesting. It's kind of a mixture of SimBrief and SkyVector and Little Nav Map. It is really powerful. If you know how to use it, you will be making flight plans like a professional. So in this video, I will just take you through all the procedures, how to make a flight plan, and especially this video is for the beginners who are actually very new to the flight simulation. They have little or zero knowledge of the flight simulation and flying. So that's why I will just take you through the basics. I will just tell you step by step how to make a flight plan. I will just make 2 or 3 different flight plans just to tell you how you can interact with this flight planner. Now, first of all, if you look at the right-hand side, you will see the controls for the views. You can change it to IFR high. IFR is actually instrument flying rules and VFR is visual flying rules. So I will be using Cessna 172, so that's why I will be flying not more than 6,000 feet. So that's why I'm using IFR low, which is instrument flying rules at a lower altitude. Then I can just use this option to show the airports. And then you have this option for the nav aids. You want to see the airways. Right now, I think you have to zoom in to look at the airways. Yes, now the airways are visible. Then you can just turn and on, off the VORs, the NDBs, the DME, the VOR DME, and so on and so forth. Then you have the option of showing the waypoints and then the airspace. I keep them on and off if you want. If you just want to declutter the map, you can just turn it off. And then you have the option of looking at the restricted airspace. And then you can just go with the measurements. You can do measurements on this map. I will tell you during this video how you will do the measurements. And then you can look at the cloud coverage, precipitation, and wind barbs. So wind barbs are now visible on the map, showing you the direction of the wind. And plus, you will also be able to see the precipitation. And this is the legend for the precipitation. So that's how you change the views over here. And you can just turn it off. And then if you click this option, you will see the day and night. And I can just turn it off. So these are the options with the help of which you can have different views of this map. And plus, I think there's also another option. Yes, this one. You can, let's say if I zoom in, I will be able to see the city names, the build-up areas, the highways, the roads, and everything. And plus the topography. Now, if you look at the left side of the screen, you will see these options for the flight planning. So first of all, you have to select the aircraft. Let's search for 172 Cessna. And I will select this one with G1000, and the variant is with the passengers. Now I can go to this route option. Now I will be doing this flight from Heathrow to Manchester. So I can just zoom in, and this is Heathrow and this is Manchester. Now there are multiple ways of adding these airports to the flight plan. I'll just try to keep it simple for you. Either you can hit over here, right click, and then add, or you can just do it from here. So let's say if I type in the name, EGLL, it will let me select the airport and plus EGCC. That's it. So there is a straight line and there is no route, no departure procedure, no arrival. So we can select it from here. So for the departure is actually known as the SID, Standard Instrument Departure. You don't simply fly out of an airport. You need a procedure. So if I select this option, auto select, it will automatically select a departure procedure. And you will see the heading of the runway is given. It will be shown 89 degrees. By the way, this is a radial for the VOR, and this is the VOR for Heathrow. And the frequency is 113.6. And this is the runway, 9 left. I can just follow this departure procedure, and then I can head towards Manchester. Now there is no other route, and there is no arrival procedure, and then there is no approach. I can select the approach right now or the arrival, but if I select the route, let's see what happens. It will automatically select the route. This is the route in purple color. Then green is the arrival. You can just see it's shown in green color. And then orange is the approach. So again, when you're arriving at an airport, there is a procedure to arrive at an airport. And plus, even for the approach, there is a procedure for that. And that procedure is there. Now, if you look at the flight plan, there are a few things that I just want you to look at. Now, first of all, if I click this airport, I can have the airport information. Longest runway is given. The transition altitude. This is actually the altitude at which you change the barometric pressure from the standard to the given one. So it's 6,000 feet for this airport. The elevation from the sea level, it's given, GPS coordinates, and plus you have the weather information, the META. And the runway that is being used right now, it's also given 9 left. You can click this option runways and you can have a look at the runways, and all this information for the runways is also there for you. Then you have the frequencies for the tower, for the ground, for the ATIs, which is for the weather, and for the area. So you have all this information. Plus, on the left-hand side, you can have a look at the charts, the arrival, approach, airport, and that's it. So you can look at all the information over here. Then you have actually the altitude constraints at different points. Let's say at this point, you should be above 583 feet. Over here, you should be at 3,000 and plus, 4,000 and plus. This is between 6,000 because there is a line on top of it and below. So you have to be between this altitude. Oh, sorry, not between this altitude. 6,000 is between these lines. You have to be at this altitude. Okay. And then so on and so forth. So over here, it's flight level 200, which is 20,000 feet. You have to be at 20,000 feet. Over here, 3,000 plus. You have to be at 3,000, and you can be above 700, and that's it. Then you have the heading for each and every waypoint in the flight plan, and plus the distance is also given over here. Again, if you want to look at the information of the Manchester airport, you can just click it, and you can just look at this information. Now I will just go here, and first of all, let's have a look at the departure. So if I look at the charts, you will look at the departures. And if I select 9 left, you can look at the departures for 9 left. So what's the name of the departure? CPT 4K. So this is the name for this departure, because it takes you to this point, CPT. That's why it resembles this point, CPT 4K. So you also have an option of looking at this chart from here. If I click this, you will look at the departure procedure for CPT 4K. All the constraints are given. The heading is given just like the one that was shown over here. So if you want to just go through these charts, it's good, because before the flight, you should look at these charts. You should have a good understanding. The distances are given. The heading is given. Plus, again, as I told you before, the altitude, they're also mentioned. So now I can just go back and look at the arrival. So if you click this option, you can look at the arrival chart, and we're coming from this point, LVOS, flight level 200, which is 20,000 feet. You will come to this point. This is a VOR. And then from here, you will proceed towards the approach. So once the arrival ends, you can see this is the runway. And then you have the approach procedure. And the approach is shown over here. You can just click this airport, and you can go to the charts. And for the approach, the runway that's being used for the approach, it's 5 right. So you can just select 5 right and ILS. You can just look at this chart, and it will show you the approach for this airport. So that's how you make a flight plan. It's really easy. It's really simple. I can just go back over here. Now, if you want to delete these options, you can simply click it, and you can just remove the procedures. This is how you can modify it. And that's it. Now, if I want to select the departure myself, instead of going for auto select, I can click this option, add. And then if you bring your mouse over here, you will be able to see each and every departure procedure. So this is the one that we were using because it's taking us this way. So you can also take this one, or you can take this one, or any of the departures. But obviously in DET1K, you have to then come all the way back to this point. So you can even visually select the departures. So let's say if I want to add it, I'll move my cursor. Can add it, add to route, insert after runway 9 left. That's it. Let's look at this. No, let's do it again. Let me just try it again. Insert after 9 left. This actually works. Let me try it the other way. This is strange. Anyhow, there's, I think, an error. Let me just refresh the page. Let's do it again. I think there was an error. Heathrow to Manchester, add CPT 4K, and now it's there. So this is actually a Murphy's law. Every time when you're recording a video, these things do have to happen. At times, I have to record a video like 5 or 6 times when this thing happens. Anyhow, today I will just go through it. Very spearheaded in this regard right now. So you can even select it like this, and then auto select the route, and that's it. And the approach and procedure is there. Now you can just enter the flight details. Let's say you want to enter the registration number, you can do that. Airline, you can select flight number, you can select, and the ATC call sign, you can set it over here. Now for the fuel and payload, actually I haven't selected the aircraft, so I can just go and type it again, 172. And then average fuel burned. So for Cessna 172, it's like 28 to 36 kilograms per hour. I'll keep it at 35. So it will do all the calculation for the fuel, 71 kilograms of fuel required for this flight. It's there. And plus you can also adjust the payload if you want. And that's it. So for the payload, I've set it to auto, the passengers. And you can set the passenger weight. If I'm traveling, it should be more than 75. And the baggage weight, you can do this. And that's it. Even I can randomize the load. Then you can go to the briefing. And you can look at the operational flight plan. How to read this operational flight plan? Just keep this option on hints, and you will be able to see what this information is all about. This is your block fuel and the destination and your origin and everything. Zero fuel weight, the weight of the plane without the fuel, and but with the passengers and the cargo. So you can just go through this operational flight plan, and you can just try understanding what each point means. Then you have options of this flight plan, the altimeter, and the different units that you can use. And then runway length, you want to see it in meters or feet. And for the scale, nautical, empirical, or imperial or metric. And then the weights, whether in kgs or pounds. And plus fuel in kgs or gallons. Navlog, IFR, VFR, or modern. You can just change any of these options. And chart provider, Lido, these are basically charts provided by Lufthansa, the charts that you are seeing right now. Now, the last option will show you all the charts related to this flight. So this is for the Heathrow, this is for the airport and ground. So you can look at all the parkings, the terminals, and then you have for the SID, as I've shown you before, and then for the Manchester again, the STAR, which is standard terminal arrival, and then you have for the airport, and that's it. For the approach, it's not shown. You can go and select it. So if I go back to the flight plan, and if I go to EGCC, Manchester, I will just go to this option, charts and approach, and this is 5 right, and I can add this. So this chart is now pinned, and now you can see this is there. If you cannot see it, then you can just pin it like this. That's it. So this was another flight plan. I'll just make another flight plan. I do another short flight with the 172, which is between Abu Dhabi and Dubai. I can go to this route and I can just like change it. I can select OMDB. And then I can select OMAA over here, change. But it's a very long flight. 172 Cessna cannot do this. So I can just remove all these waypoints, or maybe you can just refresh it. And that's it. Now again, the same procedure. You can select the departure, the route, and that's it. It's there. There is a discontinuity because after this point, you fly actually based on the heading given by the ATC. Now there is another thing I just want to show you. If you press F5, let's refresh this map. Now there is another type of flight planning that I do. Let's say I'm in Pakistan and I fly this route a lot. This is from Lahore to Islamabad. Now if I select this, add Lamb International Airport for Lahore as a departure, I can also do this. And then I can select OPIS as a destination. So now I have this flight plan. You can just drag this line and you can just go anywhere you want. Let's say if I just move it, enter the GPS coordinates, it's inserted. You want to go here, enter the GPS coordinates, inserted. So you can just move this line. If you want to go for a good sightseeing, you can do this, kind of a zigzag path. I can remove this by right-clicking and delete and delete and delete. Now another interesting thing. Within this flight plan, let's say if I first of all want to go to this airport, this is Sialkot International Airport for Pakistan. So I want to go to this point. So I can right click it. I can either add Sialkot International Airport as a waypoint or the VOR. If I click this, insert after runway 36, right? I can do this and it's added. Now let's say if I want to add another point, just right click over here. You have a GPS coordinate. Just select this and plus add. Click this plus sign, plus add. This was a good one. And insert after which. So after OPST, you want to go to this point. Just click this and it will go take you here. So you can just like do anything that you want. It's really interesting. you can keep on adding points, and even you can just like add this point Binix, and that's it. So there is so much to discover. I can just like go on and on with this video. So let's say when I'm making a video, a flight plan for the VR tracking. So that's how I do it. I'll just show you a trick when I'm doing VORs. So I add this VOR. You can just drag this line and drop it on this VOR and select the SLT VOR, and that's it. And then I can also drop it to this point. I can select the GPS coordinates, and let's say if I'm tracking the RN, there is another interesting thing that you can do. Right click, measurement. And then you can add this GPS point, and from here, I can measure this point. Or I can just take it up to here or anywhere. So let's say if I just keep it here, I'll put the GPS coordinates, and that's it. Let's try again. This is actually a bit tricky. Let me just do it again. Measurement from this point to, let's say, this point. Yeah, now it's drawn. I can right click, get rid of it. So I'm drawing this line actually just to get the heading of this VOR, because if I'm doing VOR, I will be tracking this VOR. So you can just like see what is the heading of this VOR from here. So once this VOR is at 167 degrees, if I'm tracking it from, then I can turn right. This is just an example I wanted to show you. This is actually not about a VOR video. There are details about the VOR navigation on my channel. I've done it for 152 Cessna, and for Cessna 172, you can just go and watch those videos. But for that kind of navigation, you need these measurement lines, and you want the headings and everything. So I just wanted to show you that you can use this tool to get the measurement as well, and plus you can also change the layout. You want to reset the view, you can click this. So now I've made 3 different flight plans. I hope I have covered everything, and still if you've got any questions, you can ask me in the comment section. The last thing that I just want to show you how you will load this flight plan in the simulator. Just simply go to the simulator and start a free flight, select the aircraft 172, and just save back, and go to the electronic flight bag, just load the flight plan. So whatever the flight plan you have made over there, it's shown. Now you can save a flight plan. Let's say if I want to save this flight plan, I can go to this option, save flight plan. I can just give it a name, Lahore to Islamabad, save new plan. I can go back and load the flight plan. Now you can see it's available here. I can even load it, and I can just have a look at it. It's over here. And then you can just file this plan with the ATC. You can send it to avionics, and that's it. So this was an introduction of the web-based flight planner. I hope I've covered everything, and now you will be able to make flight plans. But still, I'm here for your help. If you want me to make another video for this flight planner, you can give me an idea and I can make it for you. Thank you very much for staying with me. Have a nice day. Hope to see you soon.